Sometimes psychos lose control on paternity court.
I'm sure gonna take a picture of the DNA 99.99999.
You bought him? You bought him? You bought him just like you trying to buy my son and everybody else.
What do you mean? All you gotta do is buy him some cigarettes and some beer.
That's what I mean. And come here today and see her talk about me like this, and for me to get put down for having 7 kids, as hard as I go for my babies.
Leading a double life and then blaming the baby mama for fooling around with other men. Such claims have gotten so common in paternity court. However, Miss Sutton isn't a drab that can be easily pushed around like that.
Him and his other baby mama were together when he was supposed to be with me. Like, he was staying with me, living with me. I used to see him every day. He used to come home every night. And then all of a sudden, when I get pregnant, it's an issue. When I post my picture of my ultrasound when I got pregnant with my daughter on Facebook, I tagged him in it, and that's when she messaged me and she told me who she was.
Ooh, Daddy's a compulsive liar who just can't stick with one woman. And on top of that, the guy had the nerve to switch the infidelity tables towards the plaintiff. That's just twisty. Let's watch how he tries to defend himself.
First time we had a sexual encounter, we met at my auntie's house. We stayed, spent the night with each other, had our first sexual encounter. So after we had sex, I had went out of town to Cleveland, Ohio on a vacation. It was on the 4th of July, and she called my cousin phone and something like, is DJ around you? Oh, I'm pregnant by you. I'm like, you pregnant by who? She's like, by you. I'm like, you lying, you gotta be lying. I'm like, what about Jimmy, Joe, and John?
Jimmy, Joe, and John? Yeah, what about them? Well, according to Mr. Smith, the non-exclusive girlfriend was sleeping with so many men that it was even hard to remember their names, which would tick anyone off.
You've been denying my baby from day one. When she looked just like you, ain't nobody in my family got no big forehead like that. That baby look just like you. Even your partners on the street on Fabric say that she look just like you.
I know they will, because every time they look around, you posting the picture. Every time they look around, you posting the picture. Look at him, look at him.
The judge pointed out the same thing here, to which the defendant replied that baby mama was so down with pinning the child on him. And we all know that such doubts have straightforward solutions. Why didn't you opt for that?
I was a man. If I know a baby wasn't mine, I'll be the first one up there to take a DNA test.
Point blank,
period.
You so ghetto, you so ghetto and so
this ain't got nothing to do with you.
Hold on, let's get some order.
Whoa, calm down, people. They were just at each other's throats. Though it was hard to understand what they were saying. One thing that sounded clear is that when the DNA results hit, it'll show a 99.999 and so on relatedness.
Miss Sutton's not telling you that she done slept with my family members' husbands and baby daddy. And I caught her with one of them. We have tried hard, very hard, to get along with this girl. She has slept with one of my family members, both of her baby daddies. And when I was staying with Miss Sutton, I came home and caught her in bed with one of them.
The grandma was charged up over that fact. Her son's potential baby mama was messing with people in her family. For her, it was a total disgrace. On the other hand, the plaintiff had no remorse for such actions.
But the lease is in my name, isn't it, right? The lease was in my name, but you was staying with me.
Miss Collins.
If I can have somebody on there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I pay that rent. I pay the rent. I pay the bill.
$500.
Ran off on $500. What's
All right.
Hold on, let's get some order.
Further, Miss Sutton added that whatever her dealing had been before her having her daughter, none of them had to do with the baby girl's conception. But Miss Smith's mother was stuck on the plaintiff being the femme fatale who destroyed men.
What he was mine then.
You bought him. You bought him. You bought him just like you trying to buy my son and everybody else.
What do you mean? All you gotta do is buy him some cigarettes and some beer.
My family member, her husband and baby daddy she was dealing with, she did the same thing.
Listen, I'm getting it now. Ooh, even though y'all give me a headache.
They're giving me a headache too. By now, the judge had realized that the animosity between the plaintiff and the defendant's family was ruining the paternity chance for Sutton's daughter, and the defendants agreed that they could take the baby, but the mama was a big no-no.
Her lies, her manipulation.
Well, don't talk to me and don't come around me then.
Why are you nasty?
How about that? I'm being nasty because I've been doing this for 3 years, Tanya. You raised 2 boys by yourself.
So what?
So you know how it is. So don't come at me with that. You all up in his business. You acting like you laying under him. That nasty thing on me.
The good part was that Miss Sutton wasn't bothered by it at all. What had ticked her off was that they were punishing a small child for it, and she was not ready to go easily with that. That's why she screamed at the top of her lungs like that.
I'm doing the best I can to stop being so no.
Because you're acting up.
For one day, my girl, she didn't do nothing to you.
I'm not.
She didn't do nothing to you.
Miss
All
Sutton.
right, and don't try to act like you all hate on me when you been hitting my phone all week trying to be nice.
You've been calling me.
You been trying to be cool, like.
With the judge.
As loud as she seemed or as crazy as she sounded, Miss Sutton did wear her heart on her sleeves. And now it was about time the truth was brought forward so she and her daughter could have their share of respect.
Mr. Smith, you are the father.
Oh, thank you. After 3
See my
years. 3 years.
Okay.
It's okay.
I'm gonna see my baby, bro.
Okay. I'm sure she wants to see you too.
Tired of neglect and caring for the child alone, Miss Beckley came in front of Judge Lake, hoping that a DNA test would finally convince her ex-boyfriend to step up and take care of her daughter.
I'm very angry, very frustrated. He's been neglecting her from day one, since I got pregnant with her. And I'm just sick of it, and I just want him to take responsibility of something we both made. It makes me feel angry. I'm angry. She's without a father, you know, and it's terrible that she has to go through that, and I'm raising her on my own.
We all know what note the trial hits from here now, right? The judge asked the mister why he was acting this way, and him replying, "I've got doubts, yada yada yada, cause this and that." Yeah, we get that enough in this courtroom. However, what this defendant testified was something else.
We were co-parenting. We were still good friends.
That's not true. Germany's second birthday, he wasn't staying with me, but he ended up coming back on her birthday. We had sex, unprotected.
It wasn't baby making sex. It was angry sex.
It's not about baby making sex. Sex is sex.
It was angry sex.
Sex is sex. Whether it's
out of-
baby
it was
making,
out of
love
revenge,
making,
Robert.
hate
It was out of
making,
revenge.
sex is sex, and she's still here as a baby. It don't matter what type of sex it was unprotected.
Even with clear out, Mr. Allen couldn't bring his head around Italy being his daughter, cause for him, the conception happened too fast. And there was no way in the world things worked that way.
I want to understand from you, Miss Beckley, how long after you had sex, when it was your daughter's birthday and he came over, was it before you found out you were pregnant and let Mr. Allen know?
So it was after a month when I found out I was pregnant. I called to let him know I was pregnant, and from that it was like, oh, that don't make sense that you got pregnant too fast.
However, what made things worse was that Mr. Allen wasn't listed as the father, and baby mama didn't let the defendant near the baby girls, which further made his doubts stronger.
You're denying her. Why would I bring her to see you? That don't make sense.
She gave Italy her last name for the simple fact that she want to hurt me and break me down as a father.
'Cause that's
she
my
want to break
child.
me down as a
That's
man.
why.
Like I said, I didn't have my biological father. He was murdered the year that I was born. It will be a shame not for me to be there for my children.
Insecurities and bad childhood were running through potential baby daddy's testimonies. Still, it wasn't fair that a child was paying the price for it. The future revealed that Italy's presence in Mr. Allen's life was causing problems for him.
I struggle financially, and my fiance and her mother step in. So I can't turn off being a parent. So talking about you're tired.
But you can turn off making babies.
Yeah, you're right, Your Honor.
No,
You
really.
right.
And this
You're
is
right,
where
Your Honor.
this is where you gotta be honest. No, stop talking.
Ugh. About now, the judge was done with all of the unyielding and fussing in the courtroom. They might have learned to function that way, but Lake wasn't up for it. That's why she addressed the mess that was going on.
Am I in position to bring any more children into the world?
I understand where you come from.
Listen,
Your
I
Honor.
get what you're saying,
But
and that's
how can
something.
you tell me
Don't
I
talk
have-
over me, because if you had the answers, you wouldn't be here.
I just don't like
Hold
being
on.
put down.
You're
I don't
not
like being put down
No,
about my kids.
no.
Because
You're
I
not being.
asked her for a DNA
You don't
test.
like being told the truth.
Yes, she did. Lauren went there. But it was evident that this whole back and forth was that the dad wasn't ready to let other people's truth ride in the story. For him, it was I went through this and I'm doing that.
That doesn't mean that you've got to create more children to be the best father. That just means be the best father to the children you have, and until you are financially able to have more, don't create more. It is about being the quality of father you can be, not having a quantity of children.
Mr. Allen had the same record playing again and again. That's why the judge called in the fiance to know what had happened between the two parents. The sad part was that Miss Beckley was no help at all.
It's been said that she's told another guy he was the father.
Okay, y'all got proof of that, and y'all fiancés, where the ring at?
Girl, mind your business.
Where the ring at, right? You have no business, that's why you're here, because you're worried about, was you in the bed with me when we had her?
Let's
let's get some order.
Did you have enough of this insanity? Because I know I'm done for sure. Mama was too invested in the defendant while he had his super baby-making game on. So let's just skip to the part that would actually sort things out.
Mr. Allen, you are the father.
Told you. You too, fiance. Stepmama. Stepmama.
Stop.
Mr. Bradley desperately stepped up into the court to puzzle out the 19-year-long mystery of his biological father. Meanwhile, the defendant claimed that he could not be his father as another man had signed his birth certificate.
Mr. Bradley, you say for 19 years you've wondered, who is my father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Tessner, you claim you are 100% sure you are not Mr. Bradley's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say another man is on his birth certificate and paid child support. You say the dates of conception do not add up.
Yes, Your Honor, that's right.
The plaintiff alleged that not having a father figure in his life caused him to suffer so much that even he had always felt like he was the third person in everyone's life. Oh my, I don't know why people leave their kids stuck, running here and there alone, searching for their parents alone, when it takes two to make a baby.
Really tough going to my football games. I joined Boy Scouts. I had to go with a friend and his father, and kind of felt like a third wheel when I watched them interact with each other, and it's kind of tough, and not having a father myself to go camping with and to take to the juries at Boy Scouts, and kind of just had to go with other friends and their fathers to do things.
It was slipped that the plaintiff was living a lie, as his mother led him to believe that the man who paid child support for him was his father. But the truth burst out in the heated argument. Mrs. Bradley brought Mr. Tessner into the paternity conflict.
You thought another man was your father.
Correct. I was sitting in the car, and my mom and my aunt were arguing, and my aunt looks at my mom and tells her, well, why don't you tell him who his father is? And looked at my mom, and I'm like, what's going on? And my aunt says, well, your father's James Tessner. So then I started pushing my mom into letting me go see him. I met him when I was 13 and didn't get to see him again until I was 18.
The defendant explained his side of the story. He claimed that he could not even remember being intimate with the mother, so how could he believe that he was the father of her baby boy?
I cannot even remember having sex with her, and I never knew that she was pregnant.
You were never contacted.
I was never contacted.
And so when did you first come to know you potentially had a son?
His aunt brought him to my house and said he was my baby, but I didn't believe her because I had heard nothing from the mom, knew nothing about her being pregnant. So I just thought she was messing with me.
Mama testified that when he had the son, she did not put anyone's name on the birth certificate, but when the nurses asked her to put someone's name, she put her boyfriend's name. But her son jumped in and told her that this was not supposed to be done.
I didn't put anybody down on the birth certificate as the dad. I hadn't seen Mr. Tessner in a long time, so I didn't put anybody down. And the nurses said, well, you're gonna have to put somebody down as his dad. And I said, well, I think it's
Excuse me.
my ex-boyfriend.
Excuse me. No, no nurse can tell you to put nobody on nobody's birth certificate. It should have been left blank.
However, Mr. Tessner articulated his doubts. He claimed that he doubted the paternity due to Mr. Bradley's tan complexion. Ugh, he needs some lessons on complexion. As we all know, people come in all colors, so denying for this reason was just lame.
I think he looks like the other man, and I heard that the other man took a DNA test before he started paying child support. Have Lillian to pull his britchy legs up. Look here, see how white I am? Look how white I am. Pull your pants leg up, Lillian. Mr. Bradley.
So you're saying his skin tone?
His skin color.
I wear shorts.
He's darker than me.
The defendant further claimed that Miss Bradley was the sore liar who just changed her mind when she thought that another man could provide more efficiently than the other man. Gosh, who plays this kind of paternity game with their children?
I think she just changes it to whoever's doing better. That's who she tells him his daddy is. That's what I believe.
And this makes you angry because potentially you missed out on...
If he is my son, I missed out on a lot, didn't I? And if he ain't, look at what he's been put through over it.
Exactly. Thank you.
All because of lies. Because every time she talks, she's lying.
Nevertheless, the alleged father testified that he had been intimate with Mommy for one time only. And other than that, he admitted banging Mrs. Bradley's sister, not her. That was just ridiculous, sir.
We only slept together once. If we slept then, I remember pulling over on the side of the road to make out, but I honestly do not remember having sex. I had sex with her sister before I did her, and I remember that. And if I can remember that, why can't I remember her?
It was obvious that baby mama's misunderstanding fermented her son's whole life, and they ended up in this paternity dispute. So the last call to give them the closure they needed was to get those DNA results.
Mr. Tessner, you are his father. And I know you said you feel like you missed out on a lot.
I know I do.
But at least everything's on the square now.